Hello, John. How are you?
How you doing, Ariel? All's well, thank you.
Thanks for coming on. I appreciate it. In fact, you've been on once before, and I actually saw you outside the studio once before, if you recall. I think you were like in a cab or something.
Yeah,
This is like many years ago now, 2017, 2016. And of course, you've done a lot since then. So congratulations on all your success in MMA and now
thank you.
crossing over into boxing. Could I ask off the top,
Yep.
what has the last, it hasn't even been a couple of weeks. It's been just 10 days. What has the last 10 days been like for you since what occurred in that Mayweather fight, and especially the aftermath, went down?
It's been interesting. It opened up a whole new wave of exposure. So, my page right now is flooded with all types of people and opinions. But it's interesting. It keeps things fun, and I'm just making light of the whole situation, and just taking it all in.
So good exposure or mixed exposure, bad exposure? Like, how do you feel about the attention?
Listen, anytime you're on that sort of platform like that, it's going to come with mix no matter what you do. So I handle things how I handle things. They went how they went, and here we are. But it's not bad. Listen, I roll with the punches no matter what. No matter what people say, it's all good. Everybody's entitled to their opinion, and I can respond how I respond.
Can I ask, like, from the beginning, how did you get this fight? Like, what is the genesis of this fight with you and
Well,
Floyd being made?
this fight with Floyd actually is years in the making. We were the originals right after Logan Paul fought Floyd. We were in talks to fight Floyd right after that. So this been years in the making. Right after my final MMA fight, and it fell apart. For whatever reason, it just fell apart, and I moved on entirely from the whole situation. I was over it. Yeah, I wasted like probably a year and a half switching to boxing with nothing, nothing from it. So in the meantime, I had two boxing fights in the last 6 months. I made my pro debut in October, and I fought again in January. So I'm getting ready now for my next fight because I wanted to keep busy. And my father calls me when I'm in the sauna and tells me Floyd's people called him. They're interested in another fight. So I said, with us? He said, yeah, with us. I said, well, it's going to be like last time. I'm really not interested because it wasted a lot of time, and I want to get moving. He said, no, they're for real. They want to move this along very fast, and it's on. So you want to do it? I said, yeah, with hesitation, let's do it. Floyd's been a hero of mine since I'm a kid. I idolized Floyd for as long as I can remember. So for the chance just to get in the ring and share the ring with Floyd, it was exciting to me. How could you turn something like that down? As far as everything else. So that's the base of how this all transpired and how it came to be.
And the fight happened on June 11th. When was that phone call from your father? When did that go down? Like, how long in between the phone call and the fight?
I want to say sometime mid-April.
Okay, so it wasn't a long wait.
No, no, it moved very quickly. We went right from there to the press conference, the first one, and then basically we had to just put together, a really tough training camp, a lot of sparring. It was really tough.
And by the way, the first time we spoke, you were an MMA fighter. Why did you leave MMA to go into boxing?
Well, for this reason, I was preparing for another MMA fight after my last one. I lost my last MMA fight during COVID. So I was getting ready for another one, and then this came about. So people around me advised me, just don't take a risk, and you could risk getting injured, you could break a limb or whatever have you. Let's just do the Mayweather fight. So I was like, listen, I'm all in. Whatever you guys want to do, I'm here to do. So we pulled out of the fight and we just prepared for Floyd. We thought this was going ahead full steam 2 years ago. So I was in a full boxing training camp for a year straight, getting ready for Floyd, and then it fell apart. So I said, I might as well just take a boxing fight now and just try to, see what I could do here because I stopped fighting MMA for a full year and a half. And, you stop grappling and you're kicking, it's a lot. So I just turned my attention fully to boxing, and this somehow fell into our laps again out of the blue.
And
we didn't ask for it. It just came out of nowhere.
And in the build-up, like you said, April and press conference and then fight week, what was it like dealing with Floyd's team? Were there games, shenanigans? Were there issues, or was it pretty smooth sailing up until the fight?
No. Yeah, listen, I will say this about all Floyd's people and his team, his security. They were nothing but gentlemen. They're all good people. They rolled the red carpet out for us. They made me feel very important and special, which, listen, they didn't have to do that. the fight week as a whole was very fun. You know, I made a lot of good memories that week with my family and everything else. So as a whole, you know, the event it was awesome. I had a good time.
Was it surreal for you, like when you're squaring up with this guy, you're facing off, you're not even in the ring, like I'm talking like press conference, you're doing the face off, and then at any point are you like, holy crap, I can't believe this is actually happening, and that I'm staring at a guy that I look up to as a kid?
Many times, you know, I was Floyd's biggest advocate as a kid. You know, all I did was watch his fights. You know,
Huh.
I did a school project on Floyd Mayweather when I was in eighth grade. So that's how much, you know, he kind of dictated my life, made me fall in love with combat sports. You know, and made me start boxing from a young age. So the fact that I'm getting ready to fight Floyd, you know, it was surreal, and it was even more surreal when I see him step in the ring, standing across from me. You know, but it got real pretty quickly in there.
Yeah, were you nervous?
I actually was relaxed, and that caught me off guard because Floyd came out with bad intentions quick. You know, I thought he was gonna just ease into the fight, and we were gonna do what we had to do, and he came out with vicious intent right off the bat, and he hurt me quick. He hurt me within like 25, 30 seconds. So, you know, I had to recover the next several rounds, and you know, by the time I got going, I got my rhythm. By the end of the fourth, fifth, sixth round, you see me slowly picking it up and landing here and there. And then, you know, early in the fight, Floyd was taunting, you know, my whole crowd and section heavy and saying what he had to say. And I kind of said to Floyd in the fight, I said, it's like that. And he made it very clear, it's like that. So listen, the minute I started doing it back to Floyd, it became a problem. You know, the minute I started taunting him back and when I started cursing him back and engaging, all of a sudden it became a problem. But early on, Kenny Bayless didn't say two words to Floyd. You know, that's it wasn't right. It wasn't fair. So I'm not playing victim. You know, it is what it is. We had fun, but you know, they should have been fair regarding that.
And I want to talk about like where it all kind of fell apart. But just for the record, these exhibition fights, like there can't be a winner, right? Could you even knock him out? Like, what are the rules for these? It's
Well,
unclear to me.
unless he knocks me out or I knock him out, which he was trying hard early to knock me out. That's the only way there's a winner. Otherwise, it's declared a draw just mutually.
Okay. And so, all right. So now you're talking about like the taunting and whatnot. We saw how it ended, and Kenny
Yeah,
Bayless has always been kind of known. You know, he's well known, but also maybe I don't know, known as maybe a guy who like Floyd is cool with, to put it mildly.
yeah.
Um, the aftermath seemed to be, and I know it kind of blew up when Joe Rogan said it, but like that he called off the fight because you were grabbing onto him, you were clinching. Are
Right.
are you saying that's not true? That's not why it was
That's
called off?
not the that's not the case at all. I mean, throughout the six rounds, I probably clinched with Floyd four times. So Kenny Bayless came over to my corner and Floyd's and warned us the round before and says, "You guys have to stop cursing at one another, otherwise, you know, I'm going to call the fight." So the next round comes out and we pick right back where we left off. You know, we're every time we're in close quarters. When even I'm covering up, I'm popping out of my shell and I'm cursing at him. He's cursing at me. So the final exchange, I throw like a four punch combination and I get in the clinch again, but I get my forearm in his throat and he does it back to me. And then we start cursing again. And then Kenny Bayless just waves the fight off, which, you know, it's unheard of. People have this narrative that I was clinching him the whole fight and I got disqualified, and then I was a bitter, sore loser, and I attacked Floyd. That's not how it went. You know, you could hear Kenny Bayless after the fight on audio say he warned me and Floyd numerous times to stop or we're going to call the fight, and that's exactly what happened. But I just never seen anything like that done before. It was very weird.
Yeah, since when does a fight get called off because of cursing?
I have no idea. You know, I was confused, and Floyd was confused, and then you know I acted on emotion, which you know, looking back on it was stupid because people could have got hurt that had nothing to do with it. But I just went off my emotion, and you know I went after him because I feel like they robbed me of my best rounds, to be honest. And I was getting my second win, and I started settling in a little bit and feeling good, and they called the fight, so it didn't make sense to me whatsoever. I was disappointed.
And was this scheduled for 8 rounds or 10 rounds?
This was eight rounds, so we had two more to go.
Yeah. And when like could you give me a taste of what you guys were saying? Like how bad was this?
It wasn't at all. It was just you're a bitch.
Yeah.
You're a bitch too. Fuck you and fuck you.
And that's it. And he
That's
calls it
it.
off for that.
That's it. Yeah.
So when he calls it off, what is going on in your mind?
I wanted Floyd in the worst way. So you know, I looked at him and I tell him F you, I juked Kenny Bayless out, and I went after him. We just started like street fighting basically, and then all hell broke loose. There was 100 guys in the ring, and it was crazy. And
Uh,
I'm just glad nobody got hurt. That had nothing to do with it.
sure. Do you think Kenny Bayless called off the fight because he saw that you were starting to do better?
100%. Listen, people could say I'm crazy. 100%. I was touching him a little bit. But I was getting closer to him. And then in the sixth round, we clinched. I kissed Floyd on the cheek, and I basically told him, "That's it. You have nothing left. You shot your wad early in the fight," and I was comfortable because I felt his power diminish, his speed was gone, and I started letting my hands go, and I was catching him, and then conveniently they called the fight off. I mean, it made zero. I never seen that in all the years I'm watching boxing. I'd never seen that done before.
So do you think Kenny Bayless is like essentially on Team Floyd here and he's looking out for him?
Oh yeah, that's his guy. He goes with Floyd every fight. So the only fight he wasn't the ref was the Logan Paul fight, and Logan clinched a lot in that fight.
Right.
So that's Floyd's guy. They're not going to make Floyd look bad at any cost, even if it's a little bit. So of course he was protecting Floyd.
How bad was the melee? Like, did you get hit by anyone?
Uh, I mean, when I was getting pulled out of the ring, I got sucker punched by somebody. I couldn't see, but it wasn't too bad. Cooler heads prevailed. My head coach, Derek Panza, he got right in the middle of it, and Floyd's security guards rushed the ring. And, they were just trying to diffuse it. It was the extras that came into the ring who had nothing to do with anything. You see them all jumping over the ropes. They were the antagonizers. They were trying to get to me. They were trying to make the fight, get worse than what it was, which that's why, as I said, it was dangerous. And all the way walking back to the locker room, there was brawls all throughout the arena. Guys, I was getting hit with bottles. Guys were getting knocked out. It was crazy. It could have got very bad. So, I could understand why the commission had no security there. There was no cops there. I mean, looking back at it now, like I said, I thank God nobody was hurt.
Those people in the ring, like what percentage were Floyd's guys compared to your guys?
I would say it was about 60-40 in Floyd's favor,
Okay.
maybe more.
And did he get hit at all?
Nah, he was acting like, he was sitting up on the ropes, smiling and having a good time. It's easy to act like a tough guy when you have 6'8" security guards,
Yeah.
bum rushing everybody else. My guys, they're just some of my family and training partners. They're half the size, and they stood their ground and they did what they had to do. They're not getting paid for it. They did it out of love for me. So Floyd's paying his security to help him.
So when you go to the back and everything's going, I'm sure like emotions are very high. Do you see him? Do you talk to him? Any interaction with Floyd?
No, I didn't want. He wanted to talk, and I wanted no part of it. I don't want to talk to him. My father, however, went to his locker room and they talked and hashed it out. Listen, there's no animosity towards Floyd. I'm not. I said he was my enemy for life out of anger, but he's not my enemy. He did his job. His job is entertain and box, and so is mine. I still have respect for Floyd, and even at 46, you see him in the ring, how great he is. His reflexes at 46 are phenomenal. His speed. So listen, it was a great experience to share the ring with Floyd, and it's a memory I'll never forget for the rest of my life. That's for sure.
So it's good to hear you say that because I know it got a little tense in the aftermath. I think even like your sister got
Yeah.
involved and his daughter and all this
Yeah.
stuff. Where does it stand with all of that?
It got diffused. We're good. We've been speaking. My father's been in touch with their team, and there's no bad blood here. It's business, and we did what we had to do, and we squash it, and we move on.
Okay. Do you not like the way that you have been painted or your family's been painted or the way this has been covered in the aftermath?
Listen, it is what it is. The Gotti's a public enemy number one, I guess, forever. So they're going to do everything they can to throw dirt on me. And the thing that upset me was the way these articles were describing the fight. It wasn't the case. It painted me like this sore loser who just attacked Floyd, like out of anger, which I did attack him out of anger, but it wasn't the case. During the fight, Floyd talked a big game during that fight. And the fight didn't bother me. It's the words that got me. Once you start saying certain things, it becomes personal for me in that regard. So that's why I attacked it. But it is what it is. We moved on from it. We're adults. It's business.
Did he say any things about your family that really bothered you?
No. Floyd, all he said was good things about my family in the lead up to the fight. He actually, when he was Pretty Boy Floyd, he wrote my father when my father was away in like 2003. you know, nothing but love and respect. So there was something with me that irked him, I guess. At the weigh-in, we came out with like an army at the weigh-in, and my people, which they know better to do that, they were booing him on stage. And Floyd wants it all to be about Floyd. Floyd wants to be the center of attention at all times. He probably said to himself, "Who's this kid? This kid that's under the radar, getting all this attention this fight week, talking the big game. So I'm going to make an example out of this kid." That was his mentality. And I knew that when I got to the arena, Floyd was already there. Floyd's always late for everything. I was early. And I looked on the big screen, I see Floyd already warming up. So I said to my trainer, "Man, he's coming to make an example of me." And then when I heard he was looking to wear Clito Reyes gloves, anybody who knows anything about boxing knows Clito Reyes gloves are puncher's gloves. That's when you want to hurt somebody and you're looking to hurt somebody. So right then and there, I knew it was on. And he was coming at me, with bad intentions.
By the way, what did he write to your father about in 2003?
He just sent him a picture of him with all his belts, and he said, "To John Gotti Jr., love Floyd Mayweather."
Wow, just like unprompted?
Yeah, through a mutual friend, that a guy named Tommy Summers, who used to write my father all the time. He was very close with Floyd at one point. I don't believe they are anymore. And he kind of was like the middleman between all that.
Okay. You got suspended for your role in the aftermath. Has Floyd been suspended?
No, I don't believe so. But
is that
I
fair?
believe we're working on something now, to lift that suspension. I honestly don't know what the commission's role in all this was. I mean, they were there for a photo op, to be honest. They didn't do their job one bit. They had one job to do. They couldn't even secure the ring before the fight. The fight was delayed by like 5 minutes because people weren't in their seats. I mean, it was complete chaos. And then there was no security, like I said earlier, no cops there. I mean, that could have got really, really bad. And it is what it is. I'm just glad nobody, got hurt.
And we're talking about the Florida Commission, of course, which has been known to be a little bit, not the best, to put it mildly. Yeah. So the suspension, does that include a fine or just a suspension?
No, from as far as I know, just a suspension.
Okay. Are you trying to get a rematch with Floyd?
We're in talks right now, actually, to do something. So we'll see where it goes. From what I understood after the fight, it was the most Googled thing in the whole world. So Floyd's a businessman. Floyd wants to capitalize on that, and he wants to make money. So listen, if they want to do it again, I'm here. And I promise you, this time I'm going to come out guns and blazing as soon as that bell rings. We're going to fight now.
What is your confidence level in terms of like it happening? Because as you say, you were doing better as the fight went on. Maybe he's like, man, I don't want to go through this all over again.
No, my confidence is through the roof right now with it happening. Floyd wants to do it, so he wants to do it. We're in talks right now, and hopefully the date gets locked in very soon.
Could you tell us the time frame of when it's being discussed? Like for when is it being discussed?
October.
Okay, and safe to say it won't be in Florida?
Yeah, you're correct. Yeah. It's not going to be in Florida.
Now, October, that's in 4 months, right? How does that work with the suspension, or are you confident it's going to get reduced? Because the suspension is for 6 months, right?
Yeah, I'm confident it's going to get reduced. My team right now is on it right now to get that lifted. But I don't know how it works with if I'm suspended in Florida or if I'm suspended everywhere. I don't know how that works, but
most American,
I think it's going to get lifted.
Most American states will honor the suspension just so that everyone's on the same page. But like you go overseas and sometimes there's no commission, they won't honor it, right? Like if you go to Abu Dhabi or Saudi Arabia, is that where you're going? Is it going to be in Saudi Arabia or Abu Dhabi?
We're not sure yet. Okay. Listen, wherever they tell me, I'm there. So, but like Chael Sonnen said, Chael had said that they kind of used me as a scapegoat, the commission. So, I'm sure they didn't want no to be liable for anybody getting hurt or lawsuits. So they kind of used me as a fall guy. It is what it is. But I'm confident it's going to get lifted.
Can we maybe throw a stipulation in there? Like, well, why does it have to be an exhibition? Why can't we make this a pro fight?
I wish. Floyd's never going to put his 50-0 record on the line for anybody. He's past that. He's content with his career and all he's accomplished. Right now for him, just entertaining and making money. So that's all he wants to do.
Speaking of money, you may not know the answer to this, but do you have any idea how much he gets paid for these exhibition fights?
No, but I'm assuming it's a whole lot of money. A whole lot more than I made.
Are you happy with how much you made for it?
Yes, yes,
Biggest payday
yeah,
of your career?
yeah, by far.
Okay, so it's worth it for you to go through all this nonsense.
Yeah, listen, I don't even do this for the money to begin with. I really don't. I do this for the love. I got into MMA for the love of it. So if you're getting that, if you're getting compensated well, there's nothing wrong with that. You know, I put my heart and soul into this career and this training camp. You know, it feels good when you accomplish something and you get compensated well. But I never done this for the money. I do this for the love.
Are you done with MMA?
I don't think so. You know, I got unfinished business over there. I can't go out on a loss.
Yeah,
You know, so that wrong has to get written right, and we'll go from there. But listen, this came out of nowhere, so
yeah.
I'm just rolling with the punches right now. I never anticipated potentially fighting Floyd twice. You know, maybe in a video game, you know, as a made-up character. This is life, right? This is the landscape of boxing we're in right now. You know, with all what's going on, this is reality.
I thought you were going to sign with PFL or Bellator a couple of years ago. Was that ever close?
We were in talks with PFL. You know, they were very interested, PFL, because they were going to allow me to box and do MMA, which is
Uh-huh.
something I wanted to do. And, you know, then they're awesome. You know, they're top notch guys. You know, just good guys. You know, they reached out even for this fight. They have nothing to do with me. So, but it just never came to fruition. You know, maybe one day it could, but you know, right now my focus is just on this.
Okay. And once, this rematch happens and hopefully it all goes well, is this like a new lane for you, like this influencer boxing world? Is this obviously your last name is a very famous one, so I'm sure a lot of these promotions would love to have you on their card. Is this something that you're interested in pursuing?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I think I'm going to leave my mark after this next one, and I believe all the opportunities are going to come from this. You know, listen, one thing about the influencer boxing scene right now, there's a lot of money to be made, and there's a lot of good fights actually. You know, some of these influencer kids, they're pretty talented. You know, they know how to fight, and they're a big draw. So you know, anything could come from after this fight. Anything's possible. So listen, I'm just rolling with the punches right now. I'm enjoying the ride, and like I said, it's still surreal for me that I just fought Floyd
Yeah.
because you know he was like if a kid who played basketball look up to Michael Jordan. That's how Floyd was for me. So the fact that I fought him, you know, it's going to be surreal for a long time, and potentially fighting him again, it's weird. It's a weird feeling.
Do you still feel that way about him, considering what was said and what happened in the aftermath?
I don't. You know, now I'm going into the next fight. It's personal. So now we're going to fight. I'm going to take it to him every second of the round. So going into the first fight, I did have that admiration still for Floyd and that love and respect. And you know, it's different now. It's different when you cross certain lines with the talking. Now it becomes personal for me because Floyd didn't have to go there. You know, neither did I. But I made it clear, like I said, very early in the fight. You know, we're going to go there. You know, it's like that. And he said, it's like that. So that's exactly what he said back to me. So you know, I had to do the same thing back, and it became personal for both of us.
Do you have
Now
any
it's war with me and Floyd.
do you have any regrets?
No, not at all. Not at all. Listen, I don't regret attacking him. My regret, my only regret is if someone would have got hurt. You know, then you know I take full responsibility for going after Floyd. Like I said, I'm thankful nobody got hurt because that could have got very ugly. When I looking back on it now, how chaotic that was. You know, those people fighting all over the arena. There was people rushing back in the locker room. People who were sitting in the nosebleeds were in my locker room. How they even got there,
Jeez.
you know, is beyond me. You know, it was chaos. There was females fighting in the back. It was just everybody was fighting just to fight at that point. They wanted to just get in on the action.
Anything that we didn't talk about or address that you want to get off your chest here?
No, that's it. Yeah, that's about it.
Okay.
That sums up the crazy week as a whole.
Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, can't believe all the views on that. It got all nuts. And
Listen, it's funny how things come full circle. You know, the first time I met you, I was headed to a whole different podcast.
huh,
My friend who passed away, Sergio Da Silva, used to be a Bellator fighter. We somehow ended up on the other side of the city, me and my brother. You're crossing the street as I'm getting ready to turn around and go the other way. And I said, that's Ariel. My brother didn't really know. I said, he's one of the biggest names in MMA. So I got out and introduced myself to you. I said, I'm getting ready to make my pro debut in a couple of months. And now here we are just getting done fighting Floyd. You know, life is definitely weird. That's for sure.
it's crazy, man. It really is crazy.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
congrats on all your success. I'm sorry it didn't pan out the way you wanted to at the end of that fight, but good luck getting the
Yeah.
rematch. And good luck in the
Thank you.
fight. Floyd's never
Thank
run it
you,
back
Ariel.
with any of these guys, so that would be a first. And hopefully you can finish what you started back on June 11th. So thanks so much, John. Appreciate it, and good luck to you.
Thanks for having me, Ariel. Appreciate it. Best of luck to you.
Same here. There he is, the one and only John Gotti III, talking about his fight against Floyd Mayweather and a potential rematch. How about that?